Welcome passengers, this is your control tower speaking. As I'm sure you've noticed, the seatbelt light has turned on, so please, buckle up and enjoy the ride with your Captain Carla. And as always, I wish you a smooth landing.
Hi, I'm your Captain Carla.
And I'm your flight attendant, Yvonne.
And welcome back to Smooth Landing. Okay, Yvonne, I must know, because you are one of my most fascinating people, what's your jet lag?
So many things, but I will narrow it down to right now, texting and walking.
Oh, big. You know what? And for you, especially because you work in a school, that's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
All the students.
Well, yes and no, because they have allowed time to use their phone. But after school, yes, it is a major thing. But I honestly can't say that I see it more with students. I see it more with adults. And so that almost annoys me even more. God. It's like the driver who won't move in front of you, only they're walking in front of you.
Oh my God.
And your crazy has to come back in because you can't let the crazy come out and say, move it! Get!
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to share my jet lag with you, and I want you to know that this genuinely hurts my feelings. Why won't they pick me for jury duty?
Peter just got chosen the other day.
I'm so jealous. Why? I am the one person that wakes up, puts the suit on, gets ready, and they don't pick me. Never, not once. And I want you passengers to know that I get it in the mail all the time. All the time. And for some reason, they mail it to mom and dad still. I don't know why, but I don't know what that is. I feel like I need to do some changes there. But anyway, my dad will always tell me, our dad will always say, you have jury duty again. And we every time discuss how they do not pick me. I'm offended. I'm hurt. I'm sad.
I'll remind you of this that one time that you do get picked.
You know, Chris has been picked twice, and both of his cases were amazing. And that's what I want to have. It's on my bucket list to be on the jury duty. It's on my bucket list. Okay.
On the vision board.
Oh, I'm going to manifest jury duty. Okay. So passengers, I want to introduce my big sister, Yvonne. Welcome to the pod. Welcome aboard our big jumbo jet. Again, she is neither a flight attendant nor am I a captain, and we are not on a plane, passengers, but we are here. We're going to have fun. We have Maddie in the control tower. It's going to be a good night. So let's get started on today's episode. Tell us, what's our episode going to be about?
Family dynamics, the ins and outs. And the
ups and downs and twists and turns.
Woo! Deep breaths.
Deep breaths through it all. I feel like it'll be a light episode, though. We're not going to have too much deep diving. But we just have a little guide, some questions, the way we always do it, passengers. So let's talk about our family before we jump in real quick. You are my big sister. Mm-hmm. So Yvonne is our oldest, and then it's Stacy and me, and then we have our little guy, Steve. However, he's not a little guy. He's almost 30. Is our age gaps for the passengers who don't know us?
Between you and I, 4.5 years.
So you were born, and then 3 years later came Stace.
2 years.
2 years. Oh dear, 2 years.
And then you popped in 1.5 years after.
You guys
are like 18 months apart.
Not even. We're less than that. We did the math one time. It's like Irish twins. My mom told me one time.
Because you're 1 year. You're 87
she's 86.
And she's 86.
Yeah, 86 and 87. Yeah. My mom told me I was an oops. Mom, we got to work on that verbiage. Because this is not an oops. And then 9 years after I was born came our brother.
Mm-hmm. But I'm 13 years older than he is.
13 years. Mm-hmm. Can you remember? I remember when mom told us she was pregnant.
I remember everything.
Oh, passengers. This baby don't remember it all.
My memory's shot, but that memory is
the adolescent
pretty
memory.
Significant because he was like my baby.
He was. He still is. He's a grown man.
Well, all of them were like my baby.
Oh, I'm your child for sure.
This one slept in my bed all the time. She would come in the middle of the night. She would come in the middle of the night and she would crawl in.
Every night. You know what, passengers? Let me tell you. I was I still am. I hide it a little bit better. A nervous Nelly. Like once the house was like completely dark, there goes my nerves. They're shot. I had to go in Bonnie's bed with her, and she would always just let me right in and just let me sleep, and that was my happy place. And even though I had a bunkmate, Stace was in there. She didn't do it for me.
Sometimes you both were in my room.
Oh my gosh,
but
sometimes,
not
quite
always.
often.
Yeah, I mean
Often
you
enough.
more than Stacy for sure.
Oh my gosh, I miss her so much always. Okay, so now that we learned that, and our parents are still married, they're going on 43 years. How old are you?
Maybe 42, or is it my age? I don't know. So how old am I? 41.
You're 40. Oh,
so
I thought you were 42.
no,
She's fabulous.
I'll be 42
Look
this
at
year.
how beautiful this doesn't age.
Oh, those filters.
Well, our parents are still married, so everyone's still very close. We all know that Stacy moved to Georgia when she was a wee button. In fact, she's just celebrating.
She celebrated her 20th anniversary.
Married to Patrick for 20
today
years.
or
yesterday.
Yesterday. Today was Patrick's birthday.
Happy birthday, Patrick. Happy birthday to Leanne. Our shout out to a girl. You know, we made an episode. It didn't quite make it to air, but on that episode, we gave her a shout out to our control tower. Happy birthday, Leanne. And all the bulls, because they're all in March. Crazy. So let's jump in. So I'm going to ask you a question, and we'll just kind of guide. You can ask two. Passenger, she starters. This is a teacher at work. I want them highlighted.
I didn't have a highlighter. Asterisk was the next best thing. I did this while driving.
Oh,
because it's okay to talk while texting, but not read while driving.
You know, stay safe, buckle up, everybody. This one's on the road. She's pushing senior citizen level. Okay. So these upper questions were more so your family, like you and the family that
my blended family, I should note.
Yes, blended and beautiful. So, I want to, let's just jump right into a deep one. How do you think your family has handled difficult times or challenges?
So a little background, married 4 years this year, together a little over 5.5 years. So almost 6. And it was boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, thank God, we have not experienced any major hard times other than an unexpected little one. So when you speak of
Nicholas.
Oops, well, I'll be sure not to ever say oops to him.
Please don't. Please don't.
But while I thought I was done having children, who we both agreed upon being married, but I guess we, obviously, things occur.
I have to interject.
That's really more of a challenge, only because it was unexpected. But
you have to mention finding out about Sweet Boy, because that is probably one of my most favorite stories.
Oh, yes. Not only did I have to accept that I was having a baby at 38, once I found out that he was going to be another boy, this is on video. We'll have to throw it out there one day.
Well, must say.
I already have my birth son, and my significant other has his 2 sons, and we share our 1 son. So I am in a house of too many boys with my 1 pet, Summer, who is a girl. And it's just us against all those boys.
All that testosterone.
So if anything, those are my challenges in life. And I'm grateful that those are my challenges. Thank God.
Yeah.
And I think that to answer this question, really, it is probably I'm the only one that feels most challenged day to day, simply because I am the CEO of all these boys. And while I try to put responsibility on them because I want them to be young men in the world and not necessarily always mama's boys, that's the challenge in itself, because they're all teenagers and the 1 3-year-old. So the challenge is constantly my affirmations to myself and reminding myself not to pull all my hair out. And to just enjoy the ride, really, and accept my fate that I somehow ended up with all these boys.
Isn't that wild?
Yes, it is absolutely wild.
Okay, I have to bring up, because this is one of my favorite stories I said earlier, is Yvonne calls me one day, and me and Chris are at the gym. We're running on the treadmill.
It's like she knew.
So she was like, hey, and passengers were women. We all have our monthly situation, right?
Who, my niece and I.
Yes, are in sync. And so she asked me like, hey, have you started? And or has Maddie? And randomly I actually knew the answer only because we had just talked about it that morning. So I was like, no, actually, I think she just finished her cycle. And this one was like, oh my God, no, she hasn't. That's incorrect. And I was like, and so Maddie's also younger. And so I had like an app on her phone to help her like track her days. That way she knows, because she's in sports and stuff. So I was like, so I pulled out the map or the calendar, and I'm like, oh no, babe, it happened. And so I look at Chris and I'm like, let's just go get her a test and put her at ease. So we go over, and then she takes the test and she leaves it on the counter. We're sitting on the tub just talking, literally. And Chris walks in and he's like, who's pregnant?
He didn't know.
He literally just walked in and saw the test and was like, who's pregnant? And I'm like, oh my God, her heart. And this one could not, she was shocked, shocked. And there is no way that she could have kept it. Her reaction was so big that when Peter came home, he instantly knew, because we were like, we got to get you good luck. Woo, see, am I Nina?
That was a big day.
It was. And then it's crazy how your whole life changed, and me and Chris went out and had sushi that moment.
Oh man.
Isn't that funny?
So those are my challenges. Thank God within the family there's a whole bunch of us.
Yeah.
Feeding that army every day.
Oh my God, the army of boys.
Is the challenge. But again, all blessed challenges. So thank God we're all healthy. They're happy. There's love and respect, and
they're good boys. They are. Okay. Who provides the most support in your life? And that could be honestly, I think that's such a big statement, because there's different things. Like Chris is I'm a husband's girl. I'm not a mama's girl or a daddy's girl. I am like a husband's girl. And he answers for anything that happens to me, whether it be big or small or anything, I run to Chris. But now when I have to talk about Chris, I run to you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that support hat changes and varies. But for me specifically, because I've lived such an independent life for so many years of my life, it's more so a habit that I don't usually turn to support systems in times of challenge. But again, those are my affirmations and things that I have to remind myself that, hey, those are there. These people are there. It's available, but it's more so just been habitual since I was an elder sister, a mother hen in my friend group, independent woman for so many years of my life. Even though I had relationships, I was still very independent, never, so personality traits really fall into that, but I don't say that I stand on my own 2 feet always, because I have lots of support and love in my family, you being one, and whether it's my friends, family, work, my husband, whoever it may be, there is support. It's just not my natural habit to turn to support. You know what? I've known you literally my whole life. You will suffer in silence before you feel like you want to unpack a lot, heavy absolutely stuff. Because that is my habit. It has to be the people who know you that are something's going on. I'm going over. I'm going to kidnap you. We're going to go have a drink, and we're going to get what's going on. Right. And I think that's the best that anybody, because it's hard to be oh,
woe to me again.
Well,
you know?
and having a built-in best friend since childhood, literally, that in itself is so much support because we can look at each other and same with Stacy, even with Steven. And there's just so much connection without anybody who's siblings can probably relate to that.
You know, I think about with Stacey and so you were mama literally our whole life, like growing up, but it's so wild because it almost seemed like when we became adults, Stacey became an adult so quick that it was like
roles changed
because she was the one that kind of geared a little bit of my momming Maddie when I was barely
definitely
or like how to handle a marriage or like open questions like what do we do, how do we do this, or how do I share, because how do you know. And it's crazy because like Stacey was that person for both of us for a lot of years too, and I think that's a nice feeling to kind of pass the torch and be okay with it.
Yes,
you know, but then we pass the torch
there's
around
that inner
again.
circle of trust.
Yes,
where you are not insecure. You are, you feel that confidence in sharing your feelings and thoughts.
Oh my God, what a safe place. Because you know what, with your siblings, it don't matter what. They got to still love you. We're going to still see you at Christmas. Crazy and all, you know. I feel like that's the best. Because like with friends, you don't ever want to, you know, I mean, you shouldn't disrespect your family, but we tend to. And then you just have to like buck up and, you know, be okay with it again. Okay, let's keep our train moving. So we're going to gear it away a little bit. So because this is more family dynamic, let's talk about our growing up family. So what do you think about ours? Do we have sibling rivalry? Like, I don't think we do.
No.
I personally don't like, we're not competitive with each other.
No.
Not even like so my family is diehard Bears fans, and like this one became a Cowboys fan, and I'm a Dolphins fan with Chris, and everyone's like, good. I hope everyone's team does well.
I think I'm probably, and Steven are the only competitive natured people, but not about
against each other.
Yeah. Just earlier today, we were, for whatever reason, talking about siblings and family. And a coworker was mentioning how often she fought with her sister and this and that. And she's like, you have two sisters. Didn't you guys like almost kill each other many times? And I'm like, actually, no. I was like, I can remember one or two times that I beat Stacey up with a broom.
And she was you with a plunger.
And I told her and I scolded her for whatever reason. I don't even know why. And that was literally the only time I can remember fighting with my sisters.
Oh, God, no.
And not only that, I sat her on the sofa and told her, "Now you better not tell Mom."
Don't you dare tell Mama, or we're going to be at this again. You know what? Okay, so I love that for you, but no, me and Stacey would almost kill each other at least hourly.
Yeah, but again, that dynamic. I was big sister, you were my babies.
Yeah. So me and Stacey were cats and dogs growing up, but so it's crazy because in our home we would fight and fight and fight, but out in the world we would always protect each other. Always protecting each other. I was gonna say one time I remember specifically because everybody always uses clothes as like, didn't you borrow your sister's clothes and then they would pull your hair out? No, I remember one time.
Well, I remember plenty of my things disappearing, but
I remember I wore one of her. Oh my God, and it was like shimmery black, and it was like strappy, all kinds of straps. The back showed and everything, and I remember you saw me and you're like, you look great, but take it off.
There it is.
There's my shirt. Okay. What is our relationship with our siblings today?
Loving.
Supportive. Always like rooting each other on. I think
you all still annoy me, and I'm sure I annoy you guys. But it's within reason. I mean, it's nothing that it causes any havoc of any kind. I mean, we're blessed. A lot of people may not understand, or maybe they do understand. Maybe they're just as blessed.
Yeah.
So
I think our relationship, though, I think our mom was very particular about us when we were growing up. If we had fought a lot, she would literally lock us in a room and be like, until you guys get along, you ain't coming back out here. Mm-hmm. And so we would literally just be like, smile and get us out of this room. And so like she would push us. And then we were the Mexican family, like, poor Yvonne wants to go to a party, and my mom, take your sisters. Take your sisters. My brother was too little, so he didn't get to experience all of that madness.
He did a little bit. I remember the first party you took him to. He had to dress up like a cholo at an apartment party.
No, it wasn't an apartment. It was a house.
Yeah.
Yes, my poor brother. He was in that.
He was young.
Well, he was in that like transition where he wasn't young enough to trick or treat comfortably, and he wasn't old enough to like go out on his own.
Yeah.
So he calls me and was like, "What are you doing for Halloween? I'm all alone." And I was like, I'm going to a party and you are welcome to join, but I'm not going to this party. And so I go over to the house and he had no costume or anything. So I was like, shoot. So I took him to my apartment. We dolled him up like a cholo.
And he fell right in.
And I want you to know that my brother was tall from the get. Like he was probably like 6'1" at this
tall
point.
And handsome.
He is tall and handsome. And so he was tall and amongst all, and it was like a full blown Halloween party. And I remember there was I'm going to say this correct, a tranny. A man dressed as a woman, and it was not for Halloween. He was dressed and he had big old breasts, and he put my brother's face in him, and I was like, whoa, that's probably sexual harassment, but have fun, you know.
Welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party, brother. Have fun. Don't you drink. Now that's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
Breast fine, drinks no.
And Steven probably has his whole perspective on having 3 big sisters.
We need to bring him on. In fact, you know what? I'm a little disappointed because he tells me he's so shy to get on.
I can see that.
Ugh, lame. Even Chris is like, I'm shy. I'm like, I feel like the moment Chris sits down, he's gonna pop off. He's got a lot to say.
Well, because he's a talker.
He's a talker. Okay. Did you want to ask me? Or no, I'm going to ask you. You have stars. Give me one of your stars. Asterisks.
Well, you just asked the one that I starred. And another one, what do you love most about your siblings?
Well, I want to hear yours.
Ooh, first of all,
list.
I know. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. I love that you know what I'm thinking without me saying it. I know that we have a language.
We have a language.
Stacy and Steven included. And just the ability to all of our inside jokes. I know that I can let loose and be free when I'm with you guys. I love that we have an understanding. Especially Mom and Dad, we love you to death. But there are some things
so much
that we'll just look at each other. And we know that our children now are doing the same thing to us. Those jerks.
I know. I thought I was decent. But man, you know.
I love that I have my built-in best friends on top of my actual friends. And my secret keepers,
boy, do you know stuff that would take me down.
And I just love that we are here. We have each other. We are right here in the flesh. In our adulthood life, though, it is such a challenge to enjoy that sibling love as we once had, but it'll circle back.
It does.
It'll circle back.
I think I say this literally at least once a week. Like what I would do to go back and have us all under the same roof.
Yeah.
Like just like
compound living
day. Oh my gosh. I want to be on like a ranch and all of us have like tiny homes. My poor brother would have a big home, but but I'm like, I want so bad for us just to like one last family dinner. Like, you know what they say? Like, have you seen those memes where it's like, you didn't realize it was your last whatever until it was your last bike ride or your last time staying with your friends.
I think we're very in tune with that though. especially me and my nervous Nelly self.
Oh,
She will always remind me, God, that was 0 to 100 quick.
oh my gosh.
And I'm like, well, you could die today.
I want you to know that her son will be playing. And then she'll be like, Nicholas, he's going to fall and crack his head open. I'm like, God. He just went from...
Oh, man.
He just went from like our control towers having a moment. I'm like, he's not going to fall and crack his head open, I don't think. Now I'm concerned.
I've just seen too many documentaries.
Oh my God. Documentaries. You know, we had Jax on the pod the other day, and she was like, I've seen too many things. And she talked about the hospital.
That's the thing. Gosh.
The same with all of these.
Age has made me a nervous Nelly.
Well, shoot. We're all a mess. Okay, Yvonne. Describe each sibling.
Oh boy.
And don't get all weird and crazy. Like
I went like first last time. Let's take turns.
Okay.
But who do you want me to describe?
Well, I'll describe us, and let's see if you yay or nay. Okay, we'll start with you. You know what? I was the little sister of this diamond here. And I want you to know, like, going to school, everyone was always like, you're Bonnie's sister? Mm-hmm. You're Bonnie's sister? Like, this one has always been like what's the word? Like, she walks in a room and just everybody wants to know you. And she doesn't want to know anybody.
And I hate attention.
But besides that, she's our like wise old owl. You really are. Like, you know what Sarah told me the other day? She was like, if you could be like the cast of Winnie Pooh, who would you be? I instantly thought you were the owl.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I was told I'm Winnie Pooh. Where's the honey? And then I feel like Stacy is Piglet, you know?
She's not going to like that.
She's a nervous. Well, Chris has to be Tigger, but I thought that was funny. So I think Yvonne has our like wise, if whenever you need like to be grounded again, like where you're like centered, like where.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, I think that still reverts back to being big sister. I was always a problem solver. Mm-hmm. I had to self-soothe, problem solve, figure it out. Mm-hmm. Hold information that I didn't have anybody to turn to. I'm like, I have these little people. Okay, what are you gonna do? Mom's gonna yell at us again. So if you people don't do what I need you to do, you know, that kind of thing where I was always in charge, problem solving, figuring it out, and then kind of holding it all in. Mm-hmm. So when you say, suffer in silence, again, that's been a habitual since I was young.
Are you going dark again?
In fact, I follow a page called Elder Sister. I have never felt more connected. Outside of our sibling group, that page is like, wow.
Oh, well, we'll tag them. We'll tag this group. I love that. Mm-hmm. And see, Instagram, like social media just gives you like a take on things that like you feel heard.
Yeah, I
do feel heard. Okay, so lightly, this is our wise old owl. If ever you need to be regrouped and recentered and feel whole again,
got some miles on me.
We have. I feel like she's one of those where I finish our conversation and my cup is full again. Like, I feel better.
And that comes from hard life lessons,
too. For God's sake, this woman didn't have that hard of a life.
Life lessons.
Yes.
No, not now, thank God.
Yes.
Because of my decisions, we are in better spirits.
Yes.
But, you know.
But, okay, so I think Stacy, you know, it's so funny. And whenever we're describing our siblings, I'm always like, and I say this, and I think it's just because it's so fitting. Like, she's the mean one.
Mm-hmm.
Our girl.
So, let's try to use some adjectives. So, if I had to choose, let's like narrow it down to maybe 2 to 3, or if maybe 4.
Okay.
If we're talking Stacy, she's temperamental.
Oh, and I love that most about her. She's like a spicy Chihuahua.
Uh-huh. But she's a whip. She's got those one-liners ready to go.
She is the funniest person if you stop and listen, and she'll pop off, but it's like quiet in a corner.
You're now entertained. You're like, what did you say? Oh my goodness.
She's got some bangers, and she'll say her one banger and like sweetie pie,
But on the flip side, she's completely nurturing.
Oh
so while
my
she's
God,
temperamental,
bear,
she is just such
sure.
a nurturer and caregiver.
She's the best mama naturally, like without any, like her mama skills. Like she can cook for a football team with the 3 ingredients she has in her fridge and whip it out and not even sweat. She's just like, anyways, back to my knitting. She's just so easy. When she's easy, like I say she's temperamental only because when you get her going, she's got a bite. But
because people would say that I am. Also,
I think we're all
I have anger,
insane.
but
we all carry the anger.
But she knows how to really get it out. And again, there's that suffer in silence where I'm over here in the corner just like grinding my teeth, trying not to punch somebody, and she's over there with all her.
Or like just so nonchalant, but when she's like, we can talk on the phone literally for 4 hours every single day and not have a repetitive conversation. It's just so she is perfect, and I absolutely think she's our gel. Like she gets us gelling.
So while we are 3 sibling sisters, we're so similar yet completely different.
Oh, we're so different.
So if I had to describe you,
I forgot about me. I'm on no Steve's neck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Stevie. We're not going in birth. Oh wait, we're going in birth order.
Oh, me, give it to me. You better say something.
Fun fact: I got to do everything first because I was born first.
Oh my God! When we were little, what was it? Anything. If we were getting any type of tree or anything at all, in the order you were born. In the order we were born.
And Mom can back that up.
It's annoying. Well, then finally Steve came, and I was like, finally, something. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah. Okay, so describing you, animated, very colorful.
Mom said I have a colorful personality because I wear dark clothes always.
So same thing. While I can walk in a room and people might have their thoughts or wonders, you can walk into a room and have everyone's attention simply because they're going to hang on your every word because you're so animated. You are colorful with your words, the way you speak about anything. It's a beautiful day outside, somebody can say, and isn't it blah, blah, blah. Delicious. Yes. So that animation really goes a long way. And each one of our personalities taps into our personal lives. Obviously, you can see it through our significant others, the way our children are, our careers. It's just, and that goes to say for anybody. So animated, colorful. And while Stacy is very nurturing, you have that nurture bone, but you're just loving, forgiving. I am like forgiving and loving.
My forgiving, I had to work on that my whole life because I feel like people will slap me in the face and I'm like, they didn't mean it. They were having a moment. And we all have moments. And now I've come to terms with that. Like, you know what? I'm going to take you at face value that you're not a good person. And I'm not going to slap a bandit on it. Right? Well, that was beautiful, Sissy. Thank you. Steven. We call him Steven.
I know. I almost said Stevie.
My dad's Steve. Steven. You know what? I think he is the boy version of you.
Him and I are very similar.
For him being our youngest sibling, he is very wise. And I feel like we all...
Well, it's because he's an observer.
He
and I are observers.
And
we're analysts. Like, we sit back and observe and analyze.
Really quickly. Like, he can see something and already have it pinned. You know, like... and never watch a movie with either of you because they are... this happens. And I'm like, don't you know the whole reason is we're to sit here and enjoy this movie? Why must we figure it out within 2 minutes? Like, just sit and enjoy. I think he is so, I think he's probably the toughest out of us because he's had to deal with us. Like, I think that he has had to deal.
He's learned, and he's going to be a wonderful husband. He is engaged. We'll be married this year.
Oh, Bailey was on the show.
Baby brother is grown up. His frontal lobe has developed.
You know what? I tell him, and you must feel this way because you have literally 3 siblings. I only have the one. And I look at him and I can still see that little boy. Like, he'll be grown sitting in front of me. And I still see that little boy that I'm like, I just want to protect him, keep him in his safe place. Like, I don't ever want anything to hurt him. But that's my older sibling because he's my baby brother. But I mean, that's an intense feeling that I have for him. And you have that times 3.
Yes. And that's why I've always let you little jerks get away with so much, because they're my baby sisters and brother. And I know they love me.
Yes, more than anything, you know, like, we are very close. I do love that we're all very close. That is, and into today's time, I do wish that we were closer with Steve. Like, I think he has, like, his distance only because he's still
it's our life dynamics right now. He's not knee deep in parenthood.
He doesn't need babysitters yet.
Yeah, exactly. He don't know what stress is yet.
Oh, God.
And it's hilarious because I will give him jokes that I remind him of here and there, and he comes back to me and tells me, "Oh, you were right. You were right." You know, and I'm like, "I told you." So just remember, everything we say is true. Like, that has been your upper in life, is you've actually listened to the people in your life. And I'm telling you now too, is, you know, you've got to think before you act. And he really does. That's the difference between us girls sisters and baby brother. He actually thought before he acted with so many things in his life, any little thing.
In fact, too much thinking, dare I say. Only because he's a nervous Nelly too. He and I carry that nervousness. We just don't show it as much. Oh, Control Tower said all of us are nervous Nelly.
Well, and that just comes too when we express our love to each other. It's just always, there's so much emotion to share all the time, especially when we're with mom and dad and we're just having a regular Sunday or Saturday or whatever. We have a brunch to look forward to this weekend. And when we're all in the room, we miss each other so much, and everyone has so much something to say. There's too many of us. We can't get a word in. We get upset. And it's like, oh, I'm going away. Like, we're very dramatic.
Oh my God, we have to literally.
And Steven and Dad are just.
Okay, no,
and
I fall into. No. I want you to know that whenever we have some type of gathering, it turns into a teachers' conference, and they have to go down the rabbit hole.
We have a lot of educators in the family.
There's educators. My mom, her, Chris, Peter. Megan's around quite a bit. And then Chris's whole family's all educators. Like, me and my dad get into our corner and talk about the weather. And it's crazy because these people will get lost for hours just talking about, and it's not negative. It's like good conversation, like what's going on in the teaching world.
Yeah, but I think we're mindful.
Nobody asks how real estate is. Nobody. Oh, and if they do, they just want to know what's the interest rate.
Hey, Megan has.
Hey, you know what, Megan? No, because she's a bad one too. She'll just walk through the door and acting crazy. I'm like, oh Lord.
Well, again, when we are in our safe place and we unload and unpack, we've got to be ready to take it.
Me and my dad just sit in the corner and we're just like, here we go. Let's time it.
But see, that's where that family dynamic is, where everybody wants to get a word in. There's so many of us. We're such a big family that we only get together so often now in our busy hustle and bustle that even Steven, I only see him here and there.
Oh God,
because he is, you know, building his career, planning his wedding, and he, you know, isn't running off to practices and picking kids up from school and doing homework and, you know, all that stuff. He by the time we are all settled, you know, he's going to start entering that world. And once again, that's always kind of been the trend with every stage. And that's a 9-year difference. So I always think about my Nicholas because he's my Nicholas.
He's going to well, I would hope that he would Steve would pump out some puppies that are semi close to his age, you know,
Maybe.
where he could be like the cool older cousin.
Hopefully.
But
I mean, who's to say? Who knows what life holds?
Stop tapping. Leanne's gonna get mad at you.
Oh.
Okay. So let's keep this moving. I'm going to ask you questions about like which sibling would do this. Okay. Who's most likely to eat the last slice of pizza?
Me.
Passengers, this one's glucose or I don't know, hypoglycemic, whatever the problem is. If she doesn't eat every 5 minutes, you're in trouble. You better get her a snack because you're in trouble. I agree. I wish we had the. I thought about making those, but I'm crazy. So, okay, who's most likely to trip over their own feet while walking?
Steven.
Stacy.
Steven or Stacy?
Well, Steven, because he's just so big. His whole body is
big
Stacey, as in height.
Her and I have the same size shoe, yet she is your height. So
we have a height difference. You're 5'10".
Yeah.
I'm 5'5". Stacy's 5'5", and then Stacy has like size 10 shoes.
Yes.
Ridiculous. Now that everybody knows what you're working with. Oh my God. Who's most likely to accidentally lock themselves out of their house? I've done this multiple
I was going to
times.
say, I noted you or Stacy.
Stacy,
there's not a question that says who would back into their garage. Stacy.
Multiple times, you know, in fact, control.
So the closest thing, Stacy logging herself out of the house, and you.
I've done it. In fact, I've done it in every house. I literally have to wait for, and by the way, the last time I did it, the locksmith came and he was like straight out of the beach, but there's no beach. He was not wearing a shirt. He had sandals on and his toes.
You again.
Well, I was like, sir, a little bit of professionalism. Like, what? And I want to say, like, it was like a random, like, Tuesday morning. So I'm like, there's no beach. What are you not wearing? And and then I was thinking, like, I'm allowing this man to just like get in the house, and he could kill me with his sandal.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God, who's most likely to fall asleep during a movie at the theater?
I put Stacy.
I think Steve.
I don't know, brother. We need to go to more movies.
How about Dad?
Oh, Dad. Well, if he's an option, he's done.
He goes to the movie for a nice sleep.
He settles in and
he does. I was thinking about that. I was like, I don't know, but I thought Steve, but maybe Dad. You had notes. You asked me when you're in your notes.
Oh, okay. Who is most likely to binge watch an entire TV series in a single day?
Stacy.
Yeah.
Our girl. I love that she's like, but you know what though? I love the best part that I'll be like, okay, what happened? She's like, I don't know. I'm all
you gotta watch it.
Well, I'm like, she's like, well, I put it on, but I walked away. I came back. And I'm like, my girl. But I'm the same way. I put TV on in the background purely to have like distraction noise. But I say Stacey. Oh, who would most likely laugh uncontrollably at their own jokes?
You.
I'm a funny bird. That was rude.
I love it.
Who's most likely to forget someone's birthday? Steven. He forgot. Our control tower, Maddie, she said, dang it. Okay. Who's the messiest out of us?
Maybe Steven? I feel like none of us are messy.
I don't-
Mom had us trained well.
Well, I feel, like Stacy and I we talk for hours cleaning random stuff in our house. And you're intensely clean.
Yeah. And that's what makes me insane when I walk into my house with all these boys that I have to live with. And yes. So they are messy, not me. So, and for our siblings, none of us. Mom had us And even dad is such a
oh my god, our dad
freak.
He's a clean freak, and he's a good clean freak. Like
Mhm.
I've seen him like get down in the kitchen, and I'm like, wow, you are impressive. And mom said that
with his gloves.
Oh my god, my dad
wears
wears
his
gloves. And you know it's so funny? He'll pull them out all like, yeah, I'm like, get it, dad, get in there and scrub those dishes. Okay. Who is the best cook out of us?
Stacy or me?
I make
that
food.
beef and broccoli though.
Okay,
that's been a staple.
I think that we all cook well. I think that there's better cooks though. Like I think like I cook well. But I like in a room I can hold my own. But out of us, you guys cook well. I think I'm gonna give it to
I think
Stacey
because we've been cooking longer, and definitely Stacey has been cooking. I remember I give her grief about this not too long ago. Her last visit, I told her when she was cooking up our pasta fettuccine and the chicken, I was like, "You remember when you were cooking things out of a biscuit quick box?" She was making biscuits and I don't know what, and for the months that I was living there, and I was like, what is this? And she would serve it up like if it was a 5-star meal.
You go, girl.
And she figured out so much in her time.
Oh my god, you know what? It's crazy. Just like growing up differently. Like I took a big cheese. This is a true story. My dad died laughing, by the way. I had a big what is that thing? Like a block of Munster cheese. I'm thinking that everywhere in the U.S. sells Munster cheese because it's a staple. It's a staple in our house at all points. What doesn't go with Munster cheese? Like everything, right? So me and Stacey are talking, and she's like, "No, I haven't had Munster cheese in years." What? Why I didn't know this just like blew my hair. So I'm going to go visit her. So I was like, I'm going to bring her a block of cheese. So I go to weigh my suitcase and my dad's there at the airport to drop me off and it's over by a little bit. And so he's like, well, just like rearrange, like throw stuff in your bag or whatever. And I open it up and he sees the block of cheese.
We don't travel with bottles, we travel with cheese.
He was shocked. He was like, where are you? What is
my sister's about to have the best quesadilla.
You best believe it. But then I bring this block of cheese and little Chris has no clue. Like, what? He's like, quesadilla. Like, I was shook. I'm all, sir, he's had quesadillas, but just not like how we grew up. And I was like, you need, and so I brought her sopa. I brought her cheese. I brought her all kinds of like stuff that we grew up with, and she's just unable to have or find.
Well, she has found her spots, but she doesn't go often enough.
It's
so I don't know how far it is.
Yeah. So I just thought, like,
same thing when I was there. We had to be flipping the tortillas on the
electric stove.
Yes. So I mean, and that just reminded me, I haven't got her a comal, or you, both of you.
I need a comal actually. Yeah. Mine is it could be replaced.
Oh boy, that's a big sister task.
Well, I'm gonna say and then she came the what is that? I'm having a brain fart. The with the walk the Molcajete.
Yeah, you make us proud, baby.
Hi, Mama. That was Maddie in the control. Well, I say it all the time, but I'm having a brain fart. You know, you get a little nervous in front of the camera a little bit, like whoop. You know, and if you saw our last episode with me and Jackie, there was all kinds of turbulence going on in the okay. So, who is the funniest out of us?
We take turns.
Stacy naturally, without trying nothing, she comes out the gate real hot.
And she is just, you would never know.
No, you wouldn't
unless you'd have a conversation with
experience her. It's quite a treat. She's hilarious. And I think that Steve will have
him and his impersonations.
Oh god, they're good. They're good. But dare I say the funniest one without a doubt is my dad. Dad.
Yes. For sure.
I mean, he's got bangers all kinds. His are natural too.
Mhm.
It's funny because when they're together, they go off of each other too. They're
Mhm.
both quick.
Yeah, and just to note, since we're talking about food and then dad, like an important family dynamic for us is we grew up bicultural.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having a Caucasian father and a Mexican mother.
Mm-hmm.
We had the best of both worlds.
Literally, I
in
agree.
so many ways.
Mm-hmm. Everybody would always like how exotic we were growing up. Like
Mhm.
our maiden name is Kercheski, so out comes these brown little kids with this name. It's so funny because every time like growing up, like people would always see us, and then they get an idea, and then they hear our name, and then they get another idea. You know,
Mhm.
so it's always interesting.
Yeah, and just seeing both sides of the families, like
for sure.
how different our group chats are on the Kercheski side and the immediate family Kercheski side.
Mm-hmm.
And just that connectivity in today's time where our parents didn't have that with their parents and their siblings and their cousins, and where we have that in today's world. And I'm really grateful for that for our extended family. And if it's the closest we can be for the time being.
You know who's like crazy though, that like I feel like he's so similar to us without growing up around us so much, is David. Our cousin. He could be Mexican.
Well, he has his Sarah.
Aww.
He has a little piece of us.
She's
So
we love Sarah. Latin flavor too.
She's just precious. She's
yes,
a good person.
They both. I think together they're fantastic, and I think that David, like, he's another, like, his Kercheski is funny. Like his Kercheski side is funny, and then I feel like whenever we're walking through the city, we're related to at least 4 people because our great grandma had
17 children, but 11 lived.
Isn't that crazy? 17 children. She was pregnant while her kids were pregnant. Like,
yes,
what a concept. I'm shook. And then so imagine like there's 11 and then they all had like 4 plus, and then like I'm pretty sure I'm related to one of you. One of you watching, we're related. It's so cool. I love that our family is so big and so extensive, and all of us.
But the uniqueness is that bicultural is that being able to see what both. Well, a Christmas in Chicago is completely different than a Christmas in El Paso.
Oh my gosh! So in Chicago, they're not having posadas every night.
Exactly. And even though dad was Catholic and mom was Catholic, completely different traditions simply because of culture.
It's crazy.
And we got to see that first hand.
I absolutely love it. I think it's so cool. Even our kids, like I feel like our kids
I think we have to actively work though.
Oh gosh, Chris said something sad the other day. He was like, our kids, the Spanish is dying with them, because even though like I speak enough, I'll get by roughly. I mean, you speak much better and cleaner, but I can, if you throw me in Mexico, I'm gonna be fine. But my kids, no. I don't. I mean, maybe Maddie. Actually, Jack has a.
No one knows. Nicholas is to be determined.
Well, I mean, like,
but Noah doesn't practice enough. But see, that's how I was as a kid, and as an adult, it just came. Like it was all in my head as a kid. I feel like
Jack is pretty. Well, Maddie wasn't very interested in learning, and I think it's because of just the teachers and it wasn't good. And Jack has a lot of interest.
Duolingo will take you a long way. And Noah does his Duolingo on his own all the time.
Nice.
But again, you know how he is. He's like, I have to level up. I have to. So it's and what you want to do. Again, like we didn't care. I remember getting mad at mom.
Noah is her son. In case we didn't mention that. Yeah, my it's Noah and
older son. Yeah, and I remember yelling at mom because I was a demon child to her.
Mom, she said it here. We have when mom's been reading her whole life.
I apologize to her many times. But in one of my demonic moments, before all the wisdom came, I remember mom like genuinely speaking to us in Spanish. And she would get us to speak Spanish back to her. And I remember being incredibly upset saying, why do you want me to speak Spanish to you? I hate Spanish. I'm never speaking Spanish. where this came from, I have no idea.
Jesus almighty.
It wasn't
anger.
about the Spanish.
You know, I don't know if we touched on how angry this person was as a child. And you know what's crazy is me and my mom have had lots of conversations
Elder
on how
sister.
there was no reason for it.
Yes, there was.
There was not for that level of nonsense. Like, I remember my mom would come home with a bag of clothes and be like, hey, I went shopping for you. I hate it, you know, and it's like,
I was a lot.
yes,
But Mama knows, and Mama loves me.
Well,
because I became
moms-
her.
Surprise, passengers! You've become your mother.
So that's why we understand.
You know what's so cool though? I think that it's been many years now. I feel like our mom has been very calm and found her happy place, and I feel like that's such
because we understand the hustle and bustle now. We
Mhm.
understand what they endured and went through during life's ups and downs and hustle and bustle.
Control tower out there. Oh my gosh. Okay, passengers. Well, that concludes our family dynamic episode. I'm so grateful that my sister came out and let us enjoy her because she doesn't say yes very often to stuff. You know?
I even did my hair.
Oh, and she looks fantastic. Another great episode. Welcome to Smooth Landing. This won't be your last visit.
No, not at all. We just had to start with the family dynamic.
I think
and so much more to say, but
oh, absolutely. She has all kinds of stories to tell us outside, but I thought we would give her an introductory on whom she is in this world. And we haven't even touched on careers and hardships, and we just had a lot to get unpacked. So until next time, thanks for coming on the episode with us, and thanks for hanging out on our jumbo jet.
Thank you. I can't wait till next time.
Bye, passengers.